Ethereum putting in a 21% move with unprecedented move coming out of absolutely nowhere. So in today's show, we're going to assess what this means for the rest of the market. Does this change the outlook for when alt season may actually begin? And why on earth did Ethereum print a 21% candle out of absolutely nowhere? Stay tuned till the end of the show. We'll attempt to address this. We'll look at the high beta plays. We'll look at where Bitcoin is and when you can expect new all-time highs for Bitcoin and a whole lot more. So smash the like button, hit the bell notification, and definitely make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. And let's get straight into it immediately. That's the candle, the weekly candle. Absolutely huge print over there from Ethereum. And in a TA perspective, it's cleared all the areas of resistance over here. At the time, we were viewing this white level as the next level to get back above. And then the biggest level was going to be the yellow box over here, which is coming in at 3,400, that being your mid-range of the higher time frame range for Ethereum on the weekly chart. So that's it. You can see it nicely over here. At the time, of course, you were in an ascending triangle. You had the breakout move. You hit the measured move target of that ascending triangle breakout. You then pulled back, and now the reclaim of this yellow zone opens up the possibility to trade back to the all-time highs. So when you have a massive inefficiency candle like that, it's not really necessarily the time that you want to start to chase price towards the upside, but instead you want to look for any pullbacks that come into this region at 3,400 as a buy the dip opportunity. That is at least the ETH USD pairing. What about if you look at Ethereum against Bitcoin, which we've warned so many times is of paramount importance to be looking at, because otherwise it means you're losing Bitcoin. Well, there actually hasn't been a notable change over here. Yes, it did come into the fair value gap, which we identified based on that inefficiency from all the way back in April of 2021, and it's tagged that fair value gap, and price has reacted out of that zone, which was according to our expectations. But we still holding the same stance that we previously had, which is that we want to see ETH BTC prove to us that it is actually going to reverse from here, and that needs to be done in the form of multiple higher highs and higher lows, at least three over there. Maybe on the third one over here, you could see something like that where you start to reclaim the 0.055 ratio between ETH and BTC. And then that would be the strong area, at which point you could consider this was a very painful long-term deviation back into the overall range. And then you can start to target higher prices. Remember, when you are trading a range, you look at the reclaim of that range as holding a support, and then you can target the mid-range. And then after that, the range high. Of course, this has everything to do with the ETF, right? The ETH ETF. So you had a big liquidation on shorts over there. The majority of the market was short. This is specifically looking at Ethereum. And if you look back to the left-hand side, this is pretty much the biggest short liquidation event that we've seen in ETH for over a year. So absolutely enormous. And you can prove that it's a short squeeze by looking at this chart over here, where the open interest suddenly dropped off. As the open interest dropped off over here, you had both spot opening towards the upside, leverage opening up, and price moving up. That's showing you that it's shorts that are bailing out of their positions over there and immediately flipping long. And the reason for this move was this, right? The SEC tells exchanges that they should update their Ethereum ETF filings on an accelerated basis, right? So obviously changing those probabilities. When you look at poly markets yesterday, you were sitting at a 10% chance, right? A 10% chance that the ETH ETF would be approved by the 31st of May. And suddenly now that shot up massively to now a 61% chance that it will be approved based on this news event that came out, right? Now, typically trading these news events ultimately gets most traders wrecked unless you have a lot of insider info, which 99.99% of people do not have. So consequently, when the market prints a big inefficiency candle like that, all you can do is sit and wait for price to digest it and for the market to digest what comes next. So usually you would see something like that with a little bit of a consolidation. Point being is you're looking to reaccumulate or get into ETH at 3,300. But as we've mentioned many times on the show, we understand that for the most part, there's a lot of other altcoins that will outperform ETH, and you can actually look at their pairing against against Ethereum, one of which we're focusing a lot on, has been Solana. Solana against ETH has been very, very strong, relative speaking. So as long as that maintains its uptrend, you are still better off being in coins like Solana. We can also look at other higher beta plays, which I'll bring up in just a moment's time. So we'll go into some of those altcoins. We'll have a look at which coins could perform the best, because ETH BTC is really just the proxy for what the rest of the altcoin market is going to do, and suggest whether the majority of alts are going to start to outperform Bitcoin, right? And if you look at Miles over here, he showed what happened when the BTC ETF got approved. It rallied 75% in 63 days, right? So what would that put Ethereum at? This is, of course, a pure hypothetical scenario, because this is dubious speculation. I know that Benjamin Cowan does his show on dubious speculation. This would be dubious speculation to say that it would do exactly the same thing, but it's interesting to look at nevertheless. So if ETH followed the exact same trend, then it would put Ethereum at about 6,446 by the end of July, right? So about the 23rd of July, give or take. That's 63 days away. Now, what would be the best coins to play? I would say your number one higher beta play is PEPE, right? Why? Well, PEPE has already shown relative strength against the USD pairs across the entire market, in that it's been printing new all-time highs. Not only that, we understand the meme culture that happens within the market. We understand exactly what retail think like, and they like units that are small, right? Which this is, right? If you put in a couple of $100, you can own millions of PEPE coins. And if PEPE just goes to $1, you're a gazillionaire, right? We understand the mentality that the majority of late retail participants have. And consequently, this is one to look at. If ETH is going to start to pump, it's going to bring retail masses back into the market. And against ETH pairings as well, this has been relatively strong. So there's a chart. If you have any pullback that comes back into there's 4 zeros, 5 zeros. I'm just going to read the last digits. It would be 10,000, right? The last 5 digits should say 10,000. That would be the buy zone coming into the previous range high. If you see something like that, that's an opportunity to get long. And I'll show you another chart in just a moment where you can see that the open interest has shot up massively on PEPE. So smart traders already know this, right? They're already playing that game and prepping. Another one that you can look at is Metis, right? If ETH runs, Meta should run, and this is your chart. You had a very long-term reaccumulation range over here. You started to print high highs and high lows on a macro basis, and any pullbacks that come into this $60 to $65 region and continue to hold this trend line towards the upside, I'd be viewing it as something like this to play out in the future. That could be a zone to gain an entry. So Andrew Kang says over here, is it possible that an ETH ETF approval is not just an isolated event, but actually the very first step of a complete U-turn in the Democratic Party's policy stance towards crypto? In that case, you're not bullish enough. In that case, what could happen next? Well, we'll get into that in just a moment. But the point being over here is that they're going to use the crypto ecosystem, or at least viewers, which is massive, right? Crypto holders across the board are absolutely massive. This is also a global thing. So you don't really want to be going against the crypto masses in the entirety of the world, as that will have a negative influence on the upcoming campaign. So is it possible? Of course, it is always a possibility. And this is the first sign that we've started to see. Now, we spoke last week about the parabolic curve, where we were leaving base 4 and entering into phase 5, which is obviously the blow off top, right? The extreme parabola over here. So far, that is 100% intact. And keep in mind that once we start to cross above $74,000 on a closing basis, well, now you have double confirmation that the parabola is going into that advancing phase, which is where things go crazy very, very, very quickly. So pay attention to this chart over here. Keep it in the back of your mind's eye as prices start to move higher and higher. This will tell us very soon whether we're in a left or right translated cycle. And if you look over here at Michael Pizzino, he also brought up over here, he says that Bitcoin is now in the summertime phase where things really heat up towards the end of the cycle, there's a good chance what is coming will dwarf the move that happened from $15,000 to $74,000, which is of course the move from here to here. This is where you go into, again, as just mentioned, that parabolic phase. That's what we've been looking at for quite some time. So don't sleep, stay here, stay tuned, smash the like button, share this with a friend or family member. Do not come too late to the party or you're going to get absolutely rinsed and you're going to lose everything, right? It's not too late yet, but you're definitely not in the early phase. I have to be honest with you. We've been long for almost like close to 2 years now. So what are some of the top performing coins should this ETH BTC chart pick on towards the upside and a little bit of an alt season come back into the market? Well, if you look at Thor over here, he's looking at the ETH beta plays. Now, the best performers so far has been Lido, ENA, PEPE, Uniswap, and Arbitrum, right? But of those coins, you want to look at the ones that have high floats with very few unlocks. And those ones are going to be Lido, PEPE, and Uniswap, which is why, of course, I mentioned that PEPE is one of the top picks, right? If ETH is going to rally and break out, you got to go to the meme coin on that chain, right? So that's going to be ETH. You can also expect that this might have a little bit of an effect on base chain, right? So pay attention to those. That's going to probably be the top pick over there is PEPE. So what is this doing to the overall altcoin market? Let's see on the weekly first. Majority of coins are up. There you have it. Lido sticking out like a sore thumb with 39% up. I don't know what WETH is, but that's also up quite significantly. What about Phantom? 35%. Rune, which we still in our long trade, up 25% over there without even touching leverage. So all in all, those are looking good. There's Uni as well. Uni, one of the ones we just called out, 33% up, 25% on AVAX. So you are starting to see some of these utility tokens start to take an upside move, right? So they are getting moving over there. So I'm going to be looking to take some trades. I'm going to fund my account very, very soon. I'll probably take it sometime throughout the course of today and tomorrow. I'll be looking to scale into the next trade. Stay tuned for that, right? I'll probably take that one on BitGet. If you do want to trade alongside me with the next trade, then use the link in the description below, sign up, get an account with BitGet, and also keep in mind they do have this promotion, which is 22 days left to participate, where you can spin the wheel, essentially, and you can win a bunch of different prizes, like 300,000 PEPE coins. You can win Solana, you can win Doge, BGB, Matic, Crypto Soccer Kit, WIF, even XRP. If you're an XRP holder and you want to add a little bit more, you can win XRP. So use the link in the description below. Now, back to Bitcoin. What does this mean for Bitcoin? Where are we at? Well, it looks more probable than not to me that Bitcoin is going to continue on with this move. And we spoke about it a whole lot last week. We spoke about it actually ever since here, saying, and I must say we've absolutely nailed every step of this move, not to toot my own horn or anything. The only reason is because I'm accountable to you guys, which means that I have to do proper analysis before coming on these shows and telling you what I think. Otherwise, the masses will get wrecked. What was our stance, right? Well, ultimately, we're looking at this over here, which was the wick that formed and hit directly into the 21 exponential moving average, bouncing towards the upside. We then said, pay attention and watch the yellow line over there, which is your 0.5 level. That is measuring 50% of this wick. A high probability of the time price will come back into that level, testing it as support and then continuing up. That's exactly what we got, right? Then based on this candle over here, we said if we get a close above the green zone, which is most notably over here at $65,000, that will show bullish continuation. And then we'd expect within a matter of weeks, we should be trading at new all-time highs. And then again, that opens up the possibility of this parabolic advancement playing out. So where are we at now? Well, that's exactly what happened. We got the close. I then told you based on that close, even if we do get a bit of a red candle here towards the downside, I expect that to simply just be the wick and we'll have continuation up. If you look at that, there hasn't even been that. We just had straight continuation up. And now what I'm going to be saying to you is if we do close this candle anywhere here or higher at the $71,000 level or higher above this, I do expect next week's candle to start to break out into fresh new all-time highs. And then it becomes becomes the name of the game, where you're simply just holding and you're trailing your stop loss below the previous week's low. Because when the parabolic advancements do start to kick off and take place, they happen very, very rapidly, right? You can look over here within this cycle so far. If you just trailed your stop loss below the prior week's highs, you can easily ride price action up to the top side in a relatively safe fashion, right? So the key level, the major level to flip is $69,000. I still want to see that level successfully cleared. We've been wrestling with it for quite some time, right? That 69K is the wick over here that led to the highs. And when you look at it now like this, you can see, right? You can expect that this is actually going to lead to a pretty rapid move towards the upside. And at the end of the day, I am still looking for continuation. So let's continue. Super Guppy has flipped green. That looks good. We've already covered that. Price is now above the pivot level, the 200 EMA on the 1 hour and the 4 hour time frame, as well as above the 9 and the 18 exponential. And yesterday we're looking for clearance above the mid range, which we did get. And we got a closing candle above there. What if there is a pullback? If there is a pullback, you want this mid-range level now to flip a support, which is about $68,000, right? Give or take, you don't want price to come back below $68,000. We need to see that hold as support, and then later we can springboard up for continuation. Now, I was talking about the funding rates being flat to even in some cases completely negative. We've officially seen the first sign of positive funding rates, right? So the funding rates flipping positive again, and that's on the smart traders who have identified that PEPE is a higher beta play, right? That's the one that's gone yellow over there. You're paying 85% per year on open interest to hold this position open. So that's what we're looking at over there. Ultimately, I think that is a trade to watch. If you can time an entry in there, that's going to be a good zone to get in. Another one that I'm looking at over here is SUI, right? Now, oftentimes with these newer coins, you'll find that they create a little bit of an S formation like that, and then reaccumulate, setting in a higher low, and then pushing towards the upside. We've seen the first signs and symptoms of the breakout, that being a break above the previous week's high. Now, where do you get ultimate confirmation that SUI is going to take out the previous month's high, which is trending all the way at the major tops over here at $2? Well, if you start to see SUI break and hold above this key level over here, which is the horizontal, and that's coming in at a price level of $1.26. That for me personally will be the trigger that the higher low is in fact in, and I'm expecting continuation higher. You'll start to see a lot of traders post things like this, right? Deviation. They'll start to post deviation. They'll target the mid-range and then the range high. I expect that this will probably be trend continuation though, and that it won't simply just be ranging like that, but actually it will be trending where I'll be looking for bigger breakout, and I expect higher prices than $2.40. So that is one of the trades that I'm looking at over there. Let's have a quick check in with Solana, see what Solana's doing. Okay, remember Solana's previous month's high is coming up very, very soon. We're almost there at 205, and similar to what I just mentioned with SUI, I do expect that maybe I find a little bit of resistance at the zone, but once you push into that and get through it, I expect trend continuation, and I expect that Solana is going to push up deep into the 200 zones, possibly even start to make new all-time highs. We are at yearly highs, but there's the final all-time highs coming in at around that 260. I wouldn't be surprised to see it actually act similar to Bitcoin in the sense that once Bitcoin got to those highs, yes, then it started to chop around there for a little bit, and it took time to digest that move, and then now we're expecting Bitcoin to put the next leg up, right? So that's something that I'm looking at over there. Let's have a quick look at NEAR. This is a weekly time frame, so very, very high time frame. Look, I think NEAR is very strong for the longer term, but I'm struggling to find the perfect entry on NEAR, so I'm going to pass on that one until I get a better zone. It's really the layer ones and the high beta play meme coins is still where it's at. Let's quickly review on the weekly time frame what, of course, PEPE coin looks like. So let's quickly go to PEPE coin and see. Now, remember, most of the market is going to be underweight on things like ETH and ETH beta plays because it's performed so poorly, which means there's a lot of liquidity that can start to flow back into these markets. So here's your weekly on PEPE coin. You can see just straight strength and continuation, higher highs and higher lows. If you look at your range levels, again, there is a bit of liquidity that's coming up here in 75K region. It might create a little bit of temporary resistance, right? And then prices could come down down in the short term. After that, watch for 68K as support and then continuation higher, right? So this has been a big move. There it is. You can see the range levels more clearly drawn out over here with the horizontals. So what would that look like if price consolidated here a bit longer, pushed up, maybe get a sweep back below, and then watch for the consolidation again, right? That's something that I'm looking at. But after a big move like this, oftentimes you'll see price range sideways for some time. If it does that, it's showing you the market's strong. It's gained acceptance that that's the new level gained. In trading, you want to ask yourself that question often. Did you just gain a level or did you just lose a level? I think the answer is pretty clear that this level has been gained, which is a good thing for bulls. We have of course, our long trade over here on Rune. We're continuing to hold that. We'll look to scale that up when relevant. We need to get into enough profit, and then we'll use the extra profits that we've made as new margin to scale that position up. We have total 3 pushing into the yellow zone, playing along accordingly, exactly what we want. Remember the outlook, we want to see a bit more of a consolidation, and then we can eventually break above these range high levels, which have capped price to the downside for such a long period of time. So all in all, that's looking good. Bitcoin dominance needs a bit more time as well. Let's look at the longs to shorts. 1-to-4 ratio on longs to short, one short, 4 long, right? In terms of the liquidations over there. 𝗓𝗓, there was a big hack on 𝗓𝗓. Looking at the chart, it doesn't look that terrible in terms of the hack. It hasn't affected it too badly, but it's just your daily reminder, guys. Please be careful out there. 𝗓𝗓 allegedly hacked for 200 million. So ultimately, be careful when it comes to hacks. It's always just a daily reminder. Use a ledger. Use two-factor authenticator on your mobile device, not your SIM card, right? Don't do SIM card 2FAs. They do SIM swaps. It's very easy to do, and ultimately you lose everything. And of course, trade with a NordVPN. There's a 67% discount using the link in the description below. It works out to like 2 or 3 cents a day, which is like 1 coffee a month if you're in the US, right? So just be careful over there. Solana ETH, right? Solana ETH, of course, based on that massive ETH move yesterday, that led to quite a big candle towards the downside over here. So we need to sit and pay attention to this chart over here because it's going to tell us now whether it's still in an uptrend or is it simply in a range, right? If it is in a range, well, that would be the range high for Solana ETH, and ultimately you'd be looking at this as the range low, which means that where's your next support? Well, coming in at the mid-range. So let's quickly mark that level off, which is not that far away from where price is currently. If ETH continues to outperform Solana in the short term, well, you could be losing about 10% on this chart before you find that mid-range support, which ultimately would still be, right, those higher lows, high lows. Even if it came in over here, that is still a high low. So in terms of a trend, the trend is still up over there. Now, I've been looking at a couple of different things. So I see there is some bids coming in over here on GUMMY. The one reason that I took a GUMMY trade over here, I just dropped it this morning when I started to scale into this position with the Discord community in Whale Room. That was the chart, of course, and it had a lot to do with this, right? I don't know what's going on. Run, if you're watching the show, please let me know, bro. He said something big happening with GUMMY. You are warned. I don't know what's happening with GUMMY, but out of pure speculation, I've taken a small position over there. Should there be a reclaim, right? If the news, whatever this is, if the news is big enough to reclaim this range low, then I would consider that I got a great entry over here on that deviation on GUMMY. And you're looking at that. Hold the range low, and then you can start to target up to mid-range, and then after that, the range high. So I didn't have the confidence to go with mega size on this because that's not enough for me. Rand's one tweet like that. He tweets a lot. So just want to share that with you guys. That's the trade that I've taken. At the end of the day, you know, this is still downtrending, right? This is downtrending. But if you're treating it as a range, yeah, maybe potentially you're reclaiming that range level. What else? What else do we have? Let's see if Bowden caught a bid based on the most recent news that came out with regards to this tweet. We'll see if there's any sort of gains over here. We'll go look on the daily time frame. Or is Trump still outperforming? Okay, Bowden still pretty flat. Trump still seems to be the winner. up 5.1%, trading at new all-time highs. So there it's at. What else do we have? We'll look through some of the altcoins. The stock markets look healthy and strong. You do have the Dow Jones pulling back slightly over here, but as for the S&P 500 on the top left and the Nasdaq on the top right, they're trading at all-time highs, and the S&P 500 is consolidating at those highs, which ultimately shows strength, right? You have Coinbase breaking back into the range over here. We need to see a bit more from Coinbase in the sense that it needs to defend and hold this key $220 level, right? Failure to hold that ultimately means that this could potentially be distributing. But as we spoke about it previously, I said the higher probability trade over here is that you have a catch up from crypto to the stock market, catching up this move over here, as opposed to the stock market, call it in a catch down phase, catching down towards crypto, because I think the stock markets lead crypto, right? So ultimately, if the stock market's higher than crypto right now, I expect crypto to catch up. So also, I just wanted to bring up Commonwealth, right? Pay attention, go through to their Twitter page. There's a link in the description below. If you go through to their Twitter page, which is over here, let's quickly go to it. They are going to be launching, right? Remember, we've been anticipating this for quite a long period of time. Ultimately, they are set to launch. The token will be coming out on the 22nd to 23rd of May, like tentatively one of those days. So if you did participate, this allows you to be the VC, right? Well, they're the VC, but they're giving you a piece of their pie. So if you signed up a couple of months ago, you'll get the opportunity when the tokens release to stake them, right? So it gives you early stage investments. Just go through to their Twitter if you want to be on that list, right? With that being said, what I'm going to do as well is I won a competition thanks to your guys' help. You helped me to beat Run at the time. We were looking to beat him on the amount of people that joined the early access over here. And for that, they're giving me $20,000 worth of their wealth token, the Commonwealth token. Now, I said I'll distribute that amongst the audience for a whole bunch of different things we've said over the month. I've kept a note of that. One of the things that I'll distribute to as well is to these guys, right? The guys that have been trading on 𝗕𝗏𝗏𝗏, because we still want to beat Ran. Ran is at 32 and I'm at 432. He has a first mover advantage. He started earlier than me. 𝗕𝗏𝗏𝗏, remember, is the cross bridging, right? Where you can swap from different chains to different coins. So for example, if you're on Linear or Gnosis, like how many people use Linear or Gnosis, but if you are on Linear or Gnosis, then ultimately you can swap from ETH on Linear to Sol on Solana, or to Jupiter on Solana. And it's quick, it's seamless, right? What does this cost? Well, I calculated the fees based on the number of trades over here. So you can calculate that number divided by 950. Let's quickly do it. Where's my little calculator? Just give me a second. So if we calculate, there we go, 2,706 divided by 950, this gives you the average price per trade is $2.80 per trade, which is very, very, very cheap. Yes, of course, you can trade in and out, if you're trading on Phantom Wallet for cents, but remember, that's all on chain. That's all on Solana on one chain. If you want to bridge, this can usually cost $50, $60, $70, $80. There's a link in the description below. So part of that $20,000 will be distributed to those of you who use this link. You have to go through into the description over here. At the top, it says 𝗕𝗏𝗏𝗏, right? Do you see it over there? It says 𝗕𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. Click that link. You'll get part of the 1 million in GUMMY tokens, which will be airdropped to you. You'll get 𝗕𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 points. So that's exactly what's going on over here, right? If you look over here, these points that are accumulated for trading volume, that will be given in the form of an airdrop. And on top of that, so you're getting GUMMY, you're getting 𝗕𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 points. I'm giving away Sol as well. We already did one giveaway on Saturday. I'll do another giveaway maybe this Saturday. For those of you who traded, I can pull the addresses over there. And then the fourth thing is I'll give away some of the $20,000 worth of wealth token. So that's me giving back to you guys. What else? Should we look at some of the other altcoins, right? Let's quickly have a look at some of the coins. Let me know in the Let me know. Okay, someone's asking, when is the Wealth airdrop? I think it should be when the token launches. So go to their Twitter, ask them over there. It should be tomorrow or the next day. That's when I think it should be. Okay, Phantom. Yeah, let's have a look at Phantom. That's one of the requests over there. So let's quickly go to Phantom USDT. All right. Okay, so Phantom reclaiming this key level, which is looking really good, right? Reclaimed over here. We said as long as you can defend and hold above 88 cents, you now have the possibility to trade this all the way to the top side of the range at 122, at 122. So for the most part, we really haven't seen an alt season yet, guys. I mean, a lot of the coins, right? This is pretty lackluster for altcoins, right? Let's look at these exact lows to current price levels, 422%, right? Pretty lackluster for what we typically expect for an alt season, which means that there's better days ahead for us. There's definitely better days ahead for us. Let's look at Render, one of the coins that has had extreme relative strength. So far, it's looking okay. I think that it's probably reaccumulating over here, and it's going to start to prepare for the next move up. So if you are holding Render, you can probably continue to hold that position. Let's see, are there any other standout coins that must be mentioned? Maybe Filecoin. How's Filecoin doing? Not great. I wouldn't say anything too incredible on Filecoin. Of course, this is your range low that must hold at $5. What about 𝗬𝗓𝗡? How's 𝗬𝗓𝗡 doing? Filecoin's call it competitor. USDT, let's quickly pull that up. So 𝗬𝗓𝗡, let's see. Okay, very, very strong on 𝗬𝗓𝗡. Look, if you get a throw back into this level, did you gain a level or did you lose a level? Well, this would be gaining a level. If you can defend and hold $41.59, that becomes your support where you can then start to look to trade it up to the next level, which is going to be coming in at 69, right? $69 over there. So what else? What other ones do we have? Anything worth mentioning? Maybe Injective. How's Injective doing? Okay, Injective is coming into resistance over here. So if you have been in a long trade on Injective, that's probably the area to start to take some profits. What is the advantage of taking profits here? Because I know how the psychology works. Many of you are worried it's just going to do this, right? That almost never happens, right? Even if it does do that, it will most likely throw back into the zone, which means by taking profit over here, and if it pushes above, you can ultimately re-enter literally the exact same place on the throwback, which is going to be this $30 region, right? $30. Okay, what else? What else? Let's see. Let's go to, I just want to have a quick scroll through here. How's this one been doing? Okay, remember we spoke about this ages ago. TIA, Celestia. It was in this parallel channel rising towards the upside. We said here's your cautionary sign when you started to close candles outside of that. And of course, now it's fully distributed all the way back down. It couldn't even hold these horizontals. So you need to wait for a slowdown phase, right? When you see something like this, that's just been straight downtrending. Now you want to see the slowdown phase. You want to see a new range form going sideways. And then you can start to look for opportunities to get back into the market over there. Stacks, let's have a quick look at Stacks. How's Stacks doing? Okay. Not convinced yet, although I do think even if it comes a bit lower, this somewhere over here will be the higher low on Stacks, and then you're going to have continuation up. All right, what else? What else? PEPE coin, the OG PEPE coin. Yeah, let's go have a look at that. We obviously attempting to close the gap between the other PEPE coin, the one that's on the one that I just showed you in the beginning on all the main exchanges, and this PEPE coin. Now, look at that. Beautiful, beautiful trade. Remember, we went long down here. So how far up are we? Currently, we've done 93% on that trade on spot alone, which is looking very, very good. Obviously, the target becomes the top side of the range, which is going to be around $7. And then we can watch to see if you can break out above that. I see GUMMY with hat. A lot of you are asking about that. I don't think this is accurately feeding the chart the way that it should. There you go. See, when you put on the hourly, you can see it better. Look, I mean, they are trying to resurrect it ever so slightly. You do have a little bit of movement over here. Let's see if they can defend price, put in high lows. Obviously, very, very low market cap still, 218,000. Okay, how's GUMMY doing? Let's see if it's picking up a bit more. Okay, we need to see the reclaim. Look at how these levels work, right? Straight into that, failed to close above. This is on the hourly, and the next candle rejecting from that. Now, that's just an initial pause and reaction. I think it could still reclaim. Also, LFGO, I see these guys have done really, really well. This is the Lego one, straight up trending over there. Congratulations. Congratulations to the team. I know they made some good stuff, and that's doing well. They seem to be holding. The big holders are holding, which is good. What else? Let's look at basedAI. How's basedAI doing? Let's go into the high time frame, daily. Should be similar to PEPE coin because they usually trade in unison. There we go. Nice move also from the support level. If you took the trade when we gave it, you would be up 65%, right? 65% to current levels. And that's it, right? That's it. So guys, remember, sign up, trade there on dBridge. You actually have to take a trade. Try a few swaps, right? It's only costing you like $2.80, which is absolutely nothing. And that's it from me, guys. I will see all of you on the next one tomorrow. Have a lovely day and cheers for now.